So today we're talking with Kyle Petitt of Keller Williams Realty, and we're going to do a friendly Keller Williams versus real broker agent debate. We're going to take turns kind of explaining the different benefits and costs at each of the companies to help you make the most educated decision you can about which brokerage may be the best fit for you. Kyle, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Malcolm. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited about this. I've been with Keller Williams for a little bit, so hopefully I do them justice.
I love it, man. You know, I got out of the military in 2017, and the only other brokerage I've ever worked at was Keller Williams Realty. They went right from the Air Force right into Keller Williams. And yeah, Gary Keller's got a special place in my heart. I've read all of his books, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, The One Thing, Flip, Hold. So I'm a big fan of Gary Keller and his leadership. So this should be pretty interesting.
I did the same thing. I got out of the Air Force and got into Keller Williams as well. So
I love it, man. Well, tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about, you know, out of all the companies, why did you join Keller Williams Realty?
Sweet. Yeah. So I was in the Air Force for 9 years. And then there's a program called SkillBridge. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. To kind of train you to get a civilian job.
Yeah. It's like an internship that you can do at the end of your career. Or just end of whenever you're getting out. And it's, 3 to 6 months. So the way that I got in touch with the brokerage up here was honestly through our realtor. We became really good friends with her. We love her to death. I think we have a wine night scheduled this week with her again, but I was on a deployment and I was like, yeah, I think I'm done with this. Like, I'm ready to move on in life. And so I hit her up and I asked her, hey, could we try to set up this SkillBridge program? She got me in touch with the team leader at KW, and we set the whole thing up. So I got in through SkillBridge. So I had 6 months to technically intern, which basically meant come to the brokerage and work on my license. I live in Colorado. The course here is so freaking long. It's a 168-hour course, which is nauseating. So I worked on that. And then I was just attending trainings and attending team meetings and doing all that stuff, just helping out around the brokerage. And that was kind of like my first 6 months. I got licensed and then kind of started doing my own thing, and then had the opportunity to interview for a couple teams shortly thereafter. So why did I join KW right out the gate? Honestly, name recognition. I knew who they were. My other realtors in the past had also been from KW. So there was huge brand recognition for me. And just like, they were just super excited about the opportunity to help me sort out this SkillBridge thing. It was still kind of young and a ton of people didn't know about it. So we set it up and they brought me on and I've been there ever since.
Nice, man. I love that. Well, yeah, I'll tell my story a little bit about how I ended up at a real broker. So I got out of the Air Force 2017. I went right to Keller Williams and I was with them for 5 years. And at that time, I was experimenting a lot with video. I was one of the very first people to figure out how to use YouTube to generate leads for my real estate business back in 2016, 17, 18. And I connected with a community on Facebook of other agents doing innovative stuff, using video, using social media to generate business, which was pretty like new and unheard of in 2017, 18, 19. And in 2021, a big group of my friends that are in this community, they came over to Real Broker, and I started like looking at it. And I found myself on a call with Tamir, the CEO of Real Broker. And at this time, Real Broker is about 2,000 agents. We're in about 32 states. So it's still very, very small. And I had a great conversation with Tamir, and I really just loved his vision for the company. And I loved just like his own personal core values, but also the core values of the company, right? One of the things I love is working for a company where a core value of the company is be kind. That just really resonates with my own core values. And so really, I came over because of the community. I came over because of the culture. And I think that Real has a culture of innovation and a culture of video and trying new things. And it's just very tech focused as well. So that really kind of attracted me to Real Broker. So that was March 2021 that I joined. So obviously Keller Williams is kind of known for its training. That's what it used to identify as a training company that happens to sell real estate. I think when I was there, they changed that to where a tech company happens to sell real estate. But can you kind of break down the training at Keller Williams and what that looks like, and what's included
Yeah.
for free, and then what you have to pay for in addition to that?
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a super great question. And I'm going to actually just tag on what you said. I thought, first off, that's super cool that you got to interview Tamir. Is that what his name is?
Yeah, Tamir. Yeah.
That's super cool. And I've obviously seen Sharon around and watched a lot of his videos. And I think it's so cool. Like, both of these companies have like really powerful leaders that are very well known. And that really kind of helps with like the culture of both of the brokerages as well. And maybe it's a reason that you got into real estate as well. I just thought of this while you were talking about kind of your guys' motto, was that one of the reasons I got into it was because like I wanted more autonomy in my life and more freedom, which is why everyone gets into real estate. But I really saw and have seen how the priorities at Keller Williams, or at least, in my brokerage from what I've experienced, is that it's like, it is written up on the wall. We've got the mission, vision, values, and Keller Williams thing has always been business, being able to have businesses worth owning and lives worth living, but and doing that by God, family, then business. And that was something that I definitely did not experience in the military, was like that order of events. So anyway, I just had to tag that. I'm sure that was also your experience, and currently is, it sounds like, for a company that has work hard and be kind as their life motto.
Right. I remember that. I remember Mo Anderson, right? She used to be in charge of the culture. And I remember I used to love Diana Kokoska's bold class. No pressure, no diamonds, what you focus on, everything expands to the time allocated to it, something like that. There's a lot. I learned a lot from the bold classes.
Awesome.
So, and I know.
I was just going to say, so bold, for those that don't know what that is, I actually can't remember what it stands for. It's like business objectives, life by design, I think is what it stands for.
I don't know. Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
A lot of catchphrases in KW, if I'm being honest, but we got a lot of buzzwords. But to answer your question, so like, what kind of what training do we have? So I think most people are initially looking at, like, as a new agent, you show up and like, what can you expect, right? And the first thing that just about everybody has that is like guaranteed is you're gonna be in a program called Ignite. Every brokerage does it a little bit different. So the structure of KW, obviously, we're a brick and mortar. We have a brokerage. We have an office that not everybody goes to, but a lot of people do come and go from the actual office building itself. So Ignite is an in-person, usually 4 weeks worth of training that can be, spread out or shortened as need be. That is like, this is the basics of real estate, because as you know, when you work on your license, you then finish your license and you like pass that horrendous test. And then you're like, sick. Like, now what do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do now. So Ignite is really like, it's the fundamentals, and it starts with mindset, and just kind of getting real about the amount of work required, and it's not easy, and it's gonna require some like digging deep at times. So you start with mindset, and then you get into lead generation, but everything, how to do open houses, how to manage your database, some of the tech that I know we're going to talk about later. So Ignite is really like the fundamentals. I know at our brokerage, we always try to encourage other not new agents to come to it as well. And maybe they will for like the social media class, or, something specific, because, there's like a monster at the brokerage. It's a monster on social media or whatever that's going to be teaching it. But generally that's like the fundamentals. And then you mentioned bold. So bold is, well, we'll get to bold in just a second, because we'll talk like free stuff, right? So productivity coach. So interesting, not non-standard, right? Like every brokerage, like I said, is its own franchise. So they're all run a little bit different. Most try to have a productivity coach, so that when you show up as a new agent, even if you're not on like a real team, you kind of have like a semi-team structure. You have somebody that you can go to and be like, So I just got my first client. I'm going to go show them houses. And I actually just realized I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. So you kind of have somebody that's on staff that's like, they're incentivized to kind of help you out with that. Those are really the two big ones. And then throughout the year, you have the career visioning, Quantum Leap. Did you ever do Quantum Leap?
I think I did. And so these are all the paid ones, right? And let me ask you, the productivity coach, you have to pay them a percentage of any transactions that you close, right? That's how they get paid. They can get paid
it's almost, so that a lot of times what I've seen is there'll be part salary and then there'll be a little, part of your commission, legitimately as if you were on like a little team, because they're like kind of walking you through those transactions. Right. And for, again, everybody does it a little bit different. No, because it varies by brokerage. Mm-hmm. All of these things, except for like the big KW, like the cost of doing Bold, the cost of doing Quantum Leap, if that's a thing. Mm-hmm. Some of these like big courses, those are like generally fixed prices, but everything else, honestly, is like totally brokerage dependent, including, the other fees and stuff like that happen with the brokerage.
Makes sense. How much is Bold? Is it still $800 to take the Bold class?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's an 8-week class. Does that sound right?
Yeah. So Bold is, if imagine it's like the qualification course for special forces, or it's like buds for Navy. I can't believe I just said that. It is like the most intense 8 weeks of business probably in your life. And also it is an investment that you could theoretically lose, as in they require 100 phone calls a day, for example. Like if you're not doing your lead generation and you report back every day, if you're not doing the activities and you miss, I think 3 days in that time frame, they'll just drop you from the course. Because they're trying to like make it a high productivity environment and surround yourself with like-minded people. I've personally actually never done Bold. But truthfully, I'm going to be totally honest with you, man. I've been fortunate. I'm on a really good team and I just have a little bit different model. We actually do a lot of YouTube as well, but we have a lot of people in our office that have, and they all speak super, super highly of it, because it was like, it's a kick in the pants to do the actual things, and the amount of business that actually comes from it, because you're there getting feedback, making calls, actually running your business, not just like sitting around at your computer, like trying to figure out what to do.
And can you do Bold if you're not with Keller Williams?
Yes.
Do they allow people outside of it to join up? Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool thing about Keller Williams, man, is that, and maybe every brokerage is like this, but whether it's like Value Squared or what was Quantum Leap, Career Visioning, like they will invite anybody out to do these things. And like our brokerage, a lot of times, if I were to bring somebody, like they'll help cover the cost for that person, or if it's a free event, we're just like totally open to having people come in. I think Keller Williams really cares about the industry as a whole. And so like, if we can increase the overall population, obviously there may be like a recruiting aspect to it. It's like, you see what we have to offer, but we're also just trying to have like better people in the industry.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, let's talk about coaching programs. I know Keller Williams, they own MAPS Coaching as well, which is kind of similar to Tom Ferry Coaching, kind of similar price targets and all that. And this is paid for coaching in your real estate business. Can you talk a little bit about MAPS Coaching?
Yeah, for sure. MAPS Coaching is, honestly, you saying it like it's similar to like the Tom Ferry style. You are taking these super high level, top trained coaches. So it's not, did you play any sports growing up?
No.
Okay. So I was a soccer player growing up, and I would always say this was like, just because you were a good soccer player did not mean that you were going to be a good soccer coach. Right. Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot, where it's like, oh, he's really good, he'd be a coach. It's true in real estate as well. They're like, just because you're really good at selling real estate does not mean that you're a good coach. So KW takes a lot of pride in hand selecting these people, and then they go through actually kind of their own development process. I don't know exactly what all the requirements are, like productivity, requirements. But what ends up happening is then you can sign up to have a MAPS coach, and typically a lot of it is like 1 hour a week that you're kind of like reviewing everything, but it can be in honestly multiple aspects. It could be leadership, like they can have their own MAPS coach for like being better leaders. It could be for all the way from the brokerage leadership down to the team level. It could also be obviously for productivity, just general business growth. So that, I believe, can be anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds
But it might be a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
So
great.
also, I've never done that, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid when I was there. I hired a MAPS coach my first year for $1,000 a month. I was doing bold twice a year when I was at Keller Williams. Yeah, I fully drank that Kool-Aid. And went to all their events, which is a great segue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the events. I think they still have two annual events, right?
Yeah. 2 major annual events. And finally, thank God, post-COVID, we are back to having them in real life. I think last year it was like partial. So the main event of the year is Family Reunion. And it, goes to various places, but it's, exactly what it sounds like. It is all of KW coming together, and it's like state of the company, where are we looking to go, where are we looking to grow. This year we had Mel Robbins, which, fun fact, she wrote the 5-second rule. She was spectacular. So fun to listen to. She gave a great presentation. And that was actually the only event that she took this year. I heard it on her podcast. She said she like canceled every event, didn't take any, and this is the one that she went to. So that was pretty special. Tony Robbins, not related, also did like a half-day thing, as he does. So that's like a 3 or 4 day event. That was down in Las Vegas. You have a ton of breakout sessions. You get to network. You get to meet tons of people, and you get to kind of like, I think the best way to do it is like you kind of get to kind of like pick a topic and go to all these different breakout sessions. Like, I want to learn more about listings. I want to learn more about social media, whatever it is. So, and ultimately you just get to meet people and expand your referral network. Fun fact, I was raised Mormon, so I served a mission and lived in Portugal for a couple of years, and ended up sitting right in front of, on multiple occasions, next to the agents in Portugal. So that was really fun. We got to speak some Portuguese to each other and kind of talk about business. And I keep in touch with them still. So it's a really cool event. And then the other big one is Mega Agent Camp. Mega Agent Camp is also what it sounds like, except it's more panels and more discussion about specifically growing your business. Also multi-day event, also huge and overdone and like, just a wild event. But you really get to hear from like millionaire real estate agents, right? And what they're doing for fill in the blank, social media, prospecting, expireds, script practice, like all the things, business development in general. So those are the 2 main events. And then leadership has Mega Leadership Camp, which is like actually this coming week. And it's just for all KW leadership to come together and kind of talk about changes, concerns, growing pains, whatever. And then get to hear from like leadership as well.
I love it. Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, let me kind of talk about the training that we have here at Real Broker. So obviously Real Broker is not a franchise brokerage like Keller Williams. We're a cloud-based brokerage. So everybody has access to like the same platform, and you're really connecting with a national, really international community, rather than just the community at your brick and mortar office, that specific franchise. And I do feel like this has an impact on the training as well. Because I feel like you have access to a wider variety of training because of this setup. If you're at a KW office and you want to learn about YouTube or about Instagram, and there's nobody in your office who knows anything about that, it's much harder to get access to that type of training. Where at Real Broker, you get access to a huge community all across North America, and you can learn from experts in these individual fields that are not in your market as well. So people that are teaching you and training you, they're not also directly competing against you in your exact real estate market, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the stock and the revenue share later on, but Real Broker is owned by the agents, partially owned by the agents. Real Broker gives away a lot of free stock to their agents. And I feel like this also has a big influence on the quality of training that we have here, because we're owners in this company. We want to see this company do well. So like, I know I pour into the training and pour into the community with the training that I do. I host a monthly mastermind all about YouTube within Real. And so all of our training is housed within the Real Academy. And it's all browser based, which means that you can access all of our training on your computer, or you can pull it all up on your phone as well. And this is huge. So I'll be driving around, I'll be listening to training, listening to live streams right here on my phone while I'm driving to listing appointments, which is really nice. And so in the Real Academy, we have over 200 online classes that all agents have instant access to. We have over 24 reoccurring masterminds that all agents have instant access to. So these are either weekly masterminds or monthly masterminds like mine about YouTube. Everybody has access to all that training. And we have over 30 live streams every single week as well. A couple benefits to this is, of course, that you can access this on your schedule. You know, when I was at Keller Williams, you know, if I have an appointment that day or I'm showing properties and I miss training, like it'd be pretty frustrating. And I'd have to drive into the office to actually go and see this training. I remember I would take Bold and I would think like, oh God, I got so much I need to do today. And my entire day is eaten up by this class. I just want to go and show properties today. So I really love that flexibility with our training, that you can access it whenever you want on your phone. You can go for a walk and listen to training here at Real Broker. So I think our training is yeah, I have no complaints about it. I think it's pretty high quality. We don't have any.
I was just going to ask, how do you guys like, I'm assuming you just like log into like, what'd you call it? Real Academy?
Yeah. Real Academy. You
and
just log right in.
Just kind of like, can you search by just like topic and just see like what's scheduled for the week, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can search by topic for the 200 classes that we have. They also have them broken down by category of like new agent, experienced agents, mega agents, team leaders, or you can just go and look at all the social media, all the business development categories, self-development. And then same thing, we have over 30 live streams every single week that you can access live, and you can engage with these trainers, ask them questions. And so for like new agents, for example, we have a 12-course series that I recommend all new agents jump in and kind of from A to B, how to run a successful business. And then we have a reoccurring monthly mastermind for new agents where they can ask questions. So a new agent Q&A.
That's super
and
cool.
So yeah, go ahead. You got a
I was
question?
going to ask, yeah, I was going to say like, I think that, cause like we have KWU, so like it's all like pre-recorded courses. So I was going to ask like, and I mean, there's, you know, hundreds of those in the Keller Williams University, but I like, so I'm assuming in Real Academy that those are like kind of pre-recorded courses, but then you have the live masterminds. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. Yep. So
okay, cool.
Pre-recorded classes, like dedicated classes, live masterminds, and then you can watch all the mastermind replays as well. So if you missed one that week, you can catch up to it. Cool. And all of our training. So at a Real Broker, we give away free stock to our agents. You can earn up to $24,000 worth of free stock if you're a high producing agent. But in order to qualify for that full $24,000, you need to provide training to the community. And so it incentivizes our top producing agents to provide training, to host these masterminds, to do these live streams. So there's a pretty big financial incentive for them to do this training. So it's, yeah, I really like this model.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I know we're talking about some of that stuff a little bit later, but because this is, like, I'm going to be honest, this is like one of the biggest struggles that we have, right? Is like, we have like incredible top producing agents, but like we talk about this all the time. It's like, how do we get so-and-so to come teach this class? How do we get so-and-so to lead this mastermind? And like, because it, in a sense, it's like, there's like the altruistic string that you can pull where it's like, you know, rising tide lifts all ships. And like, if you know, mega realtor at our brokerage come and teach this thing, you know, maybe it'll help everybody and there'll be a lot of engagement, but like that person is having to just willingly take time out of their schedule. So I mean, this is actually kind of frustrating because I know that like we always end up having like the same 5 or 6 people teaching and always like really qualified, but like, because it's like hard to sometimes pull the busiest, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like not honestly, like there's not a huge incentive. Yeah.
And why would
So
they as well? Like you're directly competing with those agents in your market center directly in the exact same city, exact same market. Why would you provide if you found some new secret way that nobody else has discovered of how to generate leads or convert people or your listing appointments, why would you give away those secrets to the exact people that you're competing against?
I will say now this is brokerage dependent. I've been very, very blessed. My brokerage, like one of the things that I've loved about this brokerage is we always talk about like not having a scarcity mindset, right? There's an abundance mindset. Now, granted, we're in Colorado Springs. There's 750,000 people in El Paso County. So there's a lot of real estate to be done. Maybe it'd be different if we were in like a really, really small, super competitive market. But you are right. It's like, so I never feel like I've not been able to get that, like I'll share my YouTube secrets with everybody, mostly because I know people won't do it, or I'll share as much as I can. And I know that like our queen bee for luxury, she'll share because like I'm probably not going to be that competitive with her, but like if I can still represent the company, but even more so than that is just, instead of the competition thing, it's like, why would she come teach luxury when she could be on a listing appointment for luxury? So it sounds like at yours, it's like you're incentivized, not just because you have stock, which I didn't know that. And we're about to have a conversation, I feel like, but you get stock for teaching.
Essentially, yeah. If you have to hit certain production requirements, and then you get free stock in the company for teaching classes. And yeah, I mean, to your point, one of my quotes that I learned from, I think, Diana Kokosko is every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. Like, why would somebody say yes to driving into an office, providing training, and saying no to working on their business? And when I was at KW, I remember my broker used to try to pressure me all the time to provide training, and I would. And like, again, I was doing YouTube in 2017, 18, 19 before anybody else. And I would provide training on video and YouTube. And what happened? People in my exact city started making more YouTube videos just like I did, because I showed them exactly how to do it. And so like, I've learned that lesson. And like, now I'm just much more careful about, if I figure out some new strategy, I'm not going to share that with people in my exact market. I'll share it with all of Real Broker, but not, I'm not going to go to like a private mastermind in my city and share that information. And I remember, if you provide enough training KW, I think they would reduce your cap a little bit as well. Now,
I think it's still brokerage dependent though.
Yeah. I got to find some way.
And that's it. Yeah, for sure. And that's like, again, pros and cons, right? Like of having like an individual franchise is you're relying kind of on the team leader, the operating principal. So like the people that run the brokerage and the market center administrator. So that's like the top 3 dogs at the brokerage. You're kind of leaning on them to manage all those financials. So like that does happen. But it's not to the tune of however much stock you said, like,
right.
That's compounding. So that's super interesting.
Yeah.
My mind is a little blown right now, if I'm being honest.
It's to the stop. And as far as like paid training at Real Broker, we have 0. No paid training whatsoever. Really? All the training is fully included for all the agents. We don't have our own coaching program. We have a lot of people involved in Tom Ferry coaching. I think it's very comparable to MAPS coaching. It's the same prices pretty much. So we just prefer to keep that separate. You can make an argument that there could be a bit of a conflict of interest if your broker is trying to encourage you to go to your company's coaching program. You can make that argument. And then as far as events go, we do have 2 annual events, in-person events. We have our Rise conference every year. Last year's in San Diego. This year's going to be in Las Vegas. So it moves around every year. And it's the same thing, very similar to Family Reunion. This is our CEO is going to give the state of the company presentation, the state of the market presentation, make big new announcements. and lots of great training, lots of breakout sessions as well. And we're just adding this year our second annual event, and we're going to call this Real Summit. And this year is actually up in Banff, Canada, which is pretty cool. Yeah, are you familiar with Banff and how beautiful that is?
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
Banff is one of the greatest places on earth. That's a great choice. 10 out of 10 support that.
I'm
That's
excited.
cool.
That's like the equivalent of our Yellowstone here in the States, except yeah, Banff is gorgeous. So that's going to be our first time having our second annual event. That's this month in May. And then we also have a third digital event. We have a 2-day event where our president's giving a lot of training, a lot of top agents here at Real Broker is giving a lot of training as well, called that Real X. So those are the kind of the three, different events that we have every year. And then we do have a lot of agents who host their own private masterminds, not private, but they're open to everybody, their own events kind of throughout the country.
Oh, cool.
So I just went down one called the Real Estate Video Blueprint in Houston, Texas by Tim Macy and Katie Day. Put that on. I was actually presenting at that one.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it was like 100 some people and just all talking about video in today's real estate market. And our leadership supports those. So Sharon Servatza, the president of Real Broker, actually came down and he spoke at that agent-led event. And truthfully, like the events are, I don't want to say recruiting, but they're kind of an agent attraction thing where you can invite other people like, hey, come check out our culture, come check out our training, come see our president speak. And there's no pitch for a Real Broker or anything like that. It's all value, but it's still just kind of demonstrating your culture. And so I'm actually speaking at another one in Northern Virginia later on this month called Elevate. And Tamir, the CEO of Real Broker, he's going to be speaking at that one. So they kind of endorse and support agents putting on individual events kind of throughout the country, and they kind of help them out. Like, hey, here's a blueprint, here's a roadmap, how you can put on your own event and mastermind. I love that.
For that video one that you went to, that wasn't even all real agents there, was it? Because wasn't Utah Real Estate Paige, Paige Streckling or whatever from she's such a monster. She's amazing.
And Kozak was there as well with Keller Williams.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But that was like a real.
So it was put on by real agents.
Yeah.
But so Tim Macy and Katie Day, they said they're trying their best to keep it brokerage agnostic and trying to just have agents speaking from other brokerages and invite agents from other brokerages. But because it was put on by real agents, a lot of Real Broker agents went there to support them. And then, so yeah, if you wanted to put on this event, the more people from outside you have come, the better, if anything. But leadership will help agents and support agents in putting on these events. I'm sure they have some minimum, like, hey, you need at least 100 people or something. So we have a lot of those kind of throughout the country. Like I said, I went to one last month. I'm going to one this month as well. So let's so training is obviously really important for a lot of agents. And I'd say technology is also another huge thing that a lot of agents really value and prioritize, especially today in 2024. Like if you're not using technology properly, like you're going to get left behind. Can you tell us a little bit about Keller Williams technology, what it looks like today? Because I feel like it may have changed since I was there. When I was there, they just rolled out KW Command. And I remember that we had a Kelly app. Gary Keller had an AI assistant app back in like 2018, 2019, before it was even cool. It was a long time ago. Yeah. And here's what's interesting about the Kelly app. I think they disbanded. They got rid of this Kelly app. It wasn't really worth it. But Gary Keller is just before his times, because we have an AI assistant app, but now we have ChatGPT, and we're using the ChatGPT technology with the KW or with the Real Broker AI app, and it's amazing. And I feel like if Gary Keller just had ChatGPT back in those days, his Kelly vision for his Kelly app could have been cool. But yeah, tell me a little bit about the technology that they have at KW that they offer to their agents.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think what you said about Gary is, I think everybody in the industry, Keller Williams agent or not, understands and respects that Gary Keller is exactly that. The man is a visionary. There's a reason that it's, 190,000 agents and that they've been around for as long as that they have. And I believe it was back in 14 or 15, Gary Keller I think at a family reunion said, we are a tech company that does
Mhm.
real estate now. And there's always kind of some like, jabs and nudges. I had never actually heard of the Kelly thing until I was, getting my ducks in a row for this podcast. And I saw Kelly. I was like, what? I've never heard of that. But that's kind of crazy that it was like years ago. And then it kind of disbanded. Now we have like AI integration in Command. So Command is for
Oh.
any agent that joins, it is basically it's our CRM, right? And
Mhm.
but it's more than just a CRM to manage clients. Command is kind of like the portal or the hub for almost all things KW. Within Command, you have Connect and you have the KWU. I think I'm going to be honest. We actually use a separate CRM just because it was the one that we were using was more optimized for the way that we do business, which was through
Right.
pay-per-click and YouTube. So we just needed something a little bit different. At KW, you still are required to use Command to process transactions by, just so that there's maximum compliance and it can go through all the people so that there's no, weirdness of trying to like have an API to read my CRM for whatever. So, but the thing that I use Command for the most is on the main page, like 3 tabs down, there is the referral network. And like I said, 190,000 agents all over the world. I do a lot of referral business because of my YouTube, because of my TikTok and Instagram, and because of my military connections. I'm trying to just
Mhm.
hook the homies up with good agents. So we have this really cool referral network map. And so, for example, I will have like a friend that I know PCSing to North Carolina. And so I'll go to the map, zoom into the city that they're going to, and I can kind of like filter by production, by like production in a specific area, by listings, by sides on like on the buy side. And I'll read through their bios and pick a couple, and then I'll do the phone call, and I'll kind of like do that interview process for my friend right before I
Right.
send him over, and I'll
Love
call
that.
a couple, and that's been really, really spectacular because like I'm not just going on the Google machine and just like looking, and it kind of helps keep it as an in-network referral place. That is by and large what I use Command for the most. No question. Now in my office, we do have a couple of people that do use Command 100% because they're like, why would I pay? Some of these CRMs cost an absurd amount of
Yeah.
money, and they still don't
$500
do.
a month.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they still don't do like some of the features that you want, which is like infuriating. But anywho, that being said, through the KW or through Command, the CRM, you can also build your landing pages. You can also, have all your branded stuff, whether it's business cards, so like effectively what that does, why does that matter? Because as somebody young, or that's just really trying to like not spend a bunch of extra money, you don't have to have Canva. You don't have to have a website builder like Squarespace. You don't have to have like these other extra auxiliary programs because you can do it all through Command. So I think that's a really huge feature. We also we have an app for Command as well. I think the app for Command, if I'm being honest, is more of like the database CRM. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I do through it besides. I'm actually going to pull it up real quick just to take a peek at it because
Okay.
I
And so
think
with
that
Command, you get a CRM, you get, I guess, transaction management, right? That's where you submit it to your
yes,
broker to review it. You get the referral network. Did you say, can you build a website through KW
yeah,
Command as well? You
yeah,
get a
yeah,
website
you
with that?
can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And then you
super
get
easy
simple.
to like. You don't have to know anything about anything to do that. You just like they kind of have templates and you kind of drag and customize and put what you want there. Smart plans, every CRM does that. But
Mhm.
look, coming from the military, I'd never heard of that.
Right.
Like, I didn't know what that stuff was. Where it's like smart plans of like, so there's this is a cool thing actually about Command is, so like in the CRM that we use, not Command, we only have access to basically the smart plans that like we make.
Mhm.
Whereas in Command, it is a whole library. So I can make one in there and I can publish it to the Command library. And there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands. And so you just kind of like scroll through and you find some that work and you just like save them or download them and like start activating them for your clients. This is kind of, can you see this? Nope, that's just a black, that
No,
blurred out
nope.
screen. It's literally just the database. There's not really anything extra in there. You can do smart plan management on the app. So it's pretty straightforward for Command. And then the other big thing that we have is we have like our own Zillow or Realtor or whatever app, the KW app, that is branded to you. So I can send that to clients and that can be my own portal. So it's this, fancy little link. And then of course it gives me a bunch of, all the data of like what they're searching for, what they like, what they don't like. And it actually, the one thing that I do like about it the most is it breaks out the neighborhoods really well. Cause sometimes like on Zillow, you're just like, I'm just looking at Colorado Springs, but I don't know what this neighborhood is, or how can I like, refine it down a little bit better. I think those are our biggest tech things.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Am I
Good.
missing
So
anything that you can think of?
I think you got it all. Yeah. So you have a CRM, you have a website builder, you have a Canva type thing, you have a referral network, transaction management, and then a consumer app. Kind of the big things they give you. All right, cool. Yeah, I can definitely talk about Real Brokers tech. I think this is one of our strong points is our technology. We won Inman Innovator of the Year Award for 2023 for our technology. We won a Fast Company Design Award last year for our technology. And so our kind of hub is called Rezen. And this is all proprietary technology that our tech team led by Pritesh Damani, our chief technology officer, that he built. And in there, you can see everything about your business. You can see all the data about your business, reports on how many transactions you've closed, how much commission you've earned, what your GCI was last year versus this year. We'll get into the stock and revenue share, but you can see all that data in there as well. And one thing I love is everything on the desktop, also on the app. So on the app, you can get all this data. I can see how close I am to capping right here.
Nice.
And every transaction, you create a file for that transaction, and then you can pull that file up right here on your phone as well. And I love this because if I'm driving around and I need to call the title company for a transaction, I can literally pull up the title company's contact information right here in my app and just call them immediately to get a hold of somebody from the title company or the co-op agent. I can see what the closing date is. Yeah, like that.
That's
the
baller.
app
Yeah.
version of Rezen has been a game changer. So you can see all that data. You can submit your contract to your broker to review it. And then every contract, there's a chat dialogue that opens up automatically with your broker if you want to ask them specific questions. We also have Real Signature, which is our which is our digital signature platform or program to send contracts out to get signed. Does KW have anything like that? Or do you have to use Dotloop, SkySlope?
I believe we use Dotloop. I mean, in Colorado, at least where I do business, nobody uses any of that. We use like e-contracts, CTME, and like basically everybody uses that in our MLS. So honestly, if KW use it, I don't know, because our MLS doesn't dictate, but they for sure dictate that you're annoying if you don't use CTME, which I hate. It's a terrible program. Worst program on the planet.
Oh man, well, you can use Rezen hopefully now here soon, or Real Signature is what we call it. That's our Dotloop, SkySlope to get documents signed by your clients, and you can do it right there on your phone as well, which is also really nice.
Cool.
So we have all of that. We have Real Academy, of course, which is where all of our training is housed. One interesting thing is that we have a fantastic agent app right there. You can run your entire business off that app. We're just launching a consumer app. Last year we launched it. And so Real Broker has Real Title and a Real Mortgage, a cloud-based title company, cloud-based mortgage company, and they're using the same platform, Rezen, for these cloud companies. And we have a consumer app, but ours is not a carbon copy of Zillow. We're not trying to compete with Zillow. Our app, you actually don't download until you get under contract with a house. And what it is, it gives you, the client, an entire roadmap of where they're at in that buying process, and they'll get updates automatically through that process of where they're at. And if they're using Real Title, Real Mortgage, they'll get updates from all three of us on the exact same app. So we're trying to redefine, re-envision the consumer experience. And I love this vision.
That's cool.
Gary Keller had a similar vision. He had Keller Mortgage, he had Keller Title. Did they disband
We
both
still
those
do.
companies?
No.
They still have them?
Well, now that you say it like that, I
think I heard that they got rid of them somehow.
Google.
Yeah. I caught you. There we go.
I thought that we still did have at least Keller Mortgage. Let's see, quick links. I'm almost positive. Let me do a little Google. Sorry,
Okay.
Keller Williams. Gary,
I'll keep talking. I'll come back to you about that. And so like our vision is, instead of a client coming to us and us saying, great, and I go talk to this other company for the title work, go talk to this other company for your lender. We want them to come to us and use all three services from the same company, just to kind of streamline that process. And so we have a consumer app that we launched the first version of it, and we're kind of updating it further on this year. And then we also have the Real Wallet, which I'm super excited about. This is coming out, I think Q2 of this year. And the Real Wallet, so Real Broker is launching a debit card and a credit card for their agents. And so when you get paid a commission, you can have that money go into your Real Wallet. You'll earn interest on it. Of course, Real Broker will also earn interest. That's where they really make the money from. And if you spend that money using your Real debit card, you'll earn points that pay down your caps and fees to Real Broker. They're also going to launch a credit card. And again, you'll earn points will pay down your caps and fees. And what I love about this is that they can look and be like, hey, Kyle here's closed 20 transactions a year for the last 3 years. Like he's a trustworthy investment. We can extend him a line of credit based on his production. Or they can say, hey, Kyle here has $24,000 in free stock waiting to get invested. We can use that free stock as collateral to extend him a line of credit. And so Real Broker is going to be one of the very first companies to ever actually extend lines of credit to their agents to invest in their businesses. And so all of that is housed within the Real Wallet app, which is coming out this year. I'm pretty excited about it.
That's super cool.
So that's all. Yeah, it's super cool. Nobody else has done that, but like everybody else is going to do it. Well, think about like a Macy's card or something where you earn points. Like, why not have a point system that pays down your cap for you?
That's pretty baller because, like, for example, the airlines, right? Like, how do the airlines make money? It is not from selling tickets. Those tickets, like if you have 100 tickets and they are an average of $300, that's $30,000. I guarantee you that flight costs more than $30,000 when you look at fuel, ramp space, lounges that they have, pilots, flight attendants, is way more than $30,000. Probably the pilot's making $30,000 that day. Anyway, but the way that they make their money is actually through their credit cards and their credit card points. And so that I think is really fascinating and like makes it potentially has the opportunity to make it so that, like you were saying, it's like a business line of credit almost. And it's like easier in your brain to be like, this is a business expense. I'd be curious to see like how that plays out too with doing freaking taxes and bookkeeping and stuff like that. That's really fascinating. Oh, somebody needs to do a bookkeeping app.
Every agent, if you're a good agent, you have a credit card that you put all your business expenses on to make taxes easier at the end of the year. So why not use your brokerage credit card? Yeah. So I'm super excited about that.
That's
I think
cool.
everybody's.
I like that.
I've heard Sharon say that he thinks that this could be a bigger stream of income into Real Broker than the actual brokerage business model itself.
That's what I'm saying. That's how the airlines have gotten so big, right? And why you see Delta paired with American Express or Southwest paired with Chase, because that is where they make enormous money. But in this is like one of the coolest ideas I've ever heard, because it's like, it's not just like, oh, we've got a credit card for you to go bananas with. We've got a credit card specifically for your business, which is
Yeah.
also kind of its own kind of weird thing. If you don't know much about business, like learning how to, like, how do I get my first business credit card? And I mean, that was like, it's not that hard, but it's like, it was a confusing thing for me having no experience, like trying to figure some of that stuff out. So that is, I'll be really interested to see how that plays out. That's a really freaking cool idea.
That'll be
I
coming
like that.
this year. They said Q2, so next few
Cool.
months. And then we also have two other programs that we didn't design that they're off the shelf programs. One is Workplace. Workplace was created by Facebook. So it looks just like Facebook, but it's only people in your organization. So in here, there's a bunch of different groups, including a referral group for Real Broker exclusive referrals. And what I love is that all of our training and masterminds are live streamed in Workplace. And then you can message anybody in the company through Workplace
Am I
as
gone?
well. You're gone, but did your camera die? Maybe it's just overheated.
Yeah, hold on. Let me,
I'll keep talking.
okay.
This happened to me before. My camera just overheats or something like that. And then the other thing that we have is Lofty. And Lofty is, in my opinion, one of the best CRMs and websites out there for real estate agents. It usually costs $500 a month for a Lofty account. And if you're an agent with Real Broker, you have access to that for only $40 a month. And so this is optional because they understand that a lot of people come to the company, they already have a CRM, they already have a website. So if you want to get access to this $500 a month software for $40 a month, you can. And within Lofty, you know, a very powerful CRM. Of course, you have all these smart plans. What I love about the smart plans is one of the actions you can do is actually mail postcards. So you can set up all your past clients up on to receive a postcard branded towards you every single month if you wanted to, or every quarter. You can also, it has a really robust AI chatbot that when somebody registers on your website, Lofty will start, their AI will start texting that person and kind of pre-qualify that person for you. You're back. There we go. So the AI will text them like, hey, I'm Anna, I'm Malcolm's assistant. I saw you're looking at properties. Are you just browsing, thinking about moving? You know, have a conversation back and forth with the lead just to kind of qualify them a little bit more. Lofty can also run Facebook ads for you, Google pay-per-click ads for buyer leads, seller leads. So it can help you generate those leads for you. You can do landing pages, texting codes. You can do all kinds of really cool, robust things with Lofty. But yeah, I think that's about it for all the tech that we have here. One thing that you brought up before was communities, and this is something that KW does pretty well. They have different communities within Keller Williams. You mind talking a little bit about that, some of these communities that they have?
I will, and I won't belabor these, but I'll just hit some of like the highlights. We have, going on almost like 20 communities. So the way that I first got introduced to it was KW Military, and it is a basically it's a community that you can join. So for example, you know, I have the little tag next to my my profile, whatever. So it makes me searchable within the Keller Williams referral network. But additionally, like most of them will have their own like Facebook group. We don't use Workplace, but so there's a Keller Williams Facebook. And for example, that's also where I've done a lot of like lead generation for referral partners.
Right.
And the whole purpose of it is to make you a better agent for that community. For example, understanding the VA loan better, understanding PCSing better. You know, in that group, almost everybody is a veteran or was like a military spouse, but they let everybody into the group that just wants to serve the military community better. So that's, I think that's good, generally speaking, because like the VA loan is a little bit more complicated, for example. So it's a good opportunity. They do all kinds of like learning series, masterminds, whatever. Now the community itself is free, but there's also like a pro membership that you can kind of buy into that gets you like higher level training, more masterminds, more things like that. I just do the free one personally. The other big ones, KW land and commercial, because and that's huge because you can get yourself into a hot pickle. Is that a thing? You can get yourself into a hot pickle. We're going to say it. By trying to do a land deal or a commercial deal and not knowing anything about it. So again, it's communities where you can learn more about those and work through to get certified. The biggest one, obviously, that they're most known for is KW Luxury. They've had that for quite a few years now. And, there's requirements to get into it. It's, doing a certain amount of luxury deals in a 12-month period. Also, so a lot of these are pretty exclusive. And then you get the like luxury thing that you can put into your signature. But what it really does also is it connects you to the luxury referral network. And that's like the big thing, right? Because people that are buying luxury in California are also going to move out here and buy luxury. So, and there's a different level of service, and a lot of those businesses are run differently just because the amount of money that is transacted is a lot different. So, it might be, I'm just going to throw this out there. So it might be normal for an agent that does luxury to spend $5,000 or $10,000 on staging or an open house, at a minimum, and so they want to be able to pass a client off to somebody that is also comfortable doing the same thing. Whereas like somebody that doesn't do that type of transaction and they're much more like around the median, that might be like overwhelming, and like the level of service might not be there. So, and then I think there was one more. I'm going to hit two more real quick, which one is KW Wealth. I think the KW Wealth program is such a cool community. I had the opportunity at Family Reunion to hear from, oh my gosh, Brett. I know his name is Brett. I can't remember his last name. He runs KW Wealth, and he had been pushing for years to get this turned into a community. And it was all about teaching agents how to invest in real estate, teaching agents how to do creative finance deals. Because that's a big thing, right? Non-standard transactions, but also like helping us become independently wealthy of doing just transactions for the rest of our lives, right? I think that's so powerful, not just because, being wealthy is cool or whatever, but because I think the more opportunities that you have to like have some income, the less you have commission breath when you're working with clients, right? Yeah. And then the other one is sports and entertainment. I don't know much about this one, but I have some friends that do it. And it says KW Sports and Entertainment is your ticket to growing your portfolio with the world's most elite clientele with exclusive resources no other industry can provide. I don't know what that means, but I know that like a lot of the people that are in there are people that were former professional athletes, former Division I, athletes, and kind of have some of those connections. I don't really know what the intro is to get in there, but that just kind of sounds pretty cool, whether it's athletes or movie makers or whatever. It's kind of like, again, it's like luxury. It's like a little bit different clientele. Right. Because some people, I think, fangirl when they're around like, famous people. So anyway.
Yeah, I love it. And so Real Broker, we have some of these communities is not as robust as Keller Williams at this point. So right now we really have two main communities. We have Real Military, which I'm a part of. So like you're saying, exclusive training and masterminds and meetups on how to work, with the military community and how to, use your own VA benefits and everything. And then we have Women of Real or Real Women, something like that. We have a women's organization as well for women in leadership. They have their own masterminds and meetups. And then this year we're launching Real Luxury. So it's going to be very similar with private masterminds, private training groups, and then I think some new branding assets as well for kind of our luxury brand as well. That should be coming out later on this year. And so I've got 17 minutes left, and before I have to leave to go pick up my son, we got a few more things to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is stocks. So I mentioned that before. Real Broker gives away free stocks. What's the case with Keller Williams? Do they have stocks that they give to their agents or anything like that?
Well, if you only have 17 minutes left, then let me just say we don't have stocks. Actually, it was a thing that I know was talked about a couple of years ago. And I know a lot of people, honestly, that stayed at Keller Williams because they said that KW was going to go public and we were going to provide stock options to people. So honestly, I know a lot of people that stayed because of that. And that is, it's not on the table. I haven't heard anybody talk about it recently. And it is not a thing that we do, that we do.
Yeah, interesting. Sorry. So yeah, Real Broker, we give away, we're publicly traded, listed on the NASDAQ. Our stock's about $4 a share right now. We give away free stocks to agents in the company. There's 4 ways to earn free stock. The first is you can opt into the stock purchase program where you can buy stock directly out of your commission and earn up to 20% 6% free stock on top of your purchase. So anybody can do that, even if you're only doing 1, 2, 3 deals a year. The second way is by capping. You earn free stock in the company. Our cap's only $12,000 a year. It's really easy to cap. I think on average, agents cap at about 7 transactions. So you earn free stock that way. When you
So for a
attract an
solo
agent,
agent
yeah,
is
for a
12K.
agent,
Okay.
yeah. If you're on a team, it's half a cap, so 6K. And then if you attract an agent when they close their first transaction, you earn free stock in the company. And then we have our Elite Agent Award, where you can earn up to $24,000 in free stock every single year. And that's actually broken up into 2 different awards: a performance award. So when you sell a certain number of homes a year, you earn $16,000 in free stock. On average, that number is about 28 homes a year. You'll earn $16,000 worth of free stock. You'll also be eligible for the Cultural Award, which if you're providing training to the real community or somehow providing back to your local community, that can get you eligible for that other 8,000. So altogether, it's $24,000 in free stock every single year. And what's interesting is if you sell 28 homes a year and you count stock as cash equivalent, you actually be a net positive at the end of the year. It won't cost you anything to be an agent at Real Broker. You earn more in free stock than you actually spent to sell that many homes at Real Broker, which is pretty interesting. So another thing, yeah. And I feel like the stock has a huge impact on our culture, on the community, on the training that we have as well, because the company's owned by the agents rather than working at a brokerage where it's owned by the franchise owner, owned by the broker. Just having that investment has a big impact on things. So another thing I want to talk about is rev share versus profit share. So Keller Williams is one of the very first companies to launch some kind of residual award for agents for attracting agents to the company. Can you kind of break that down? What does profit share look like if you were to bring agents in underneath of you?
Yeah. Well, so I told you that the way that I got into the business was through SkillBridge. And then what ended up happening is I took over the SkillBridge program. And at the time I was like one of the only brokerages like offering it. So I've built up a pretty solid downline over the years. And by just helping people do SkillBridge all over the country, it's been really pretty awesome. So profit share is exactly what it sounds like. So first and foremost, like it's not that like when an agent under me does a deal, like they pay me and they pay the brokerage and they pay their team, whatever. So you have your splits. So at Keller Williams, you do a 70-30 split. You get 70%, the brokerage gets 30%. And the numbers are weird there because like you have what's called a company dollar, which goes to like your local brokerage, right? And that's basically for the operations of running the brokerage, right? Office space and staff and all of that stuff. So that comes out of that is also different at every brokerage, by the way, because obviously it costs more to run a brokerage in LA than it does in Muscatec, Iowa, right? Yeah. Big difference in cost there. So at my brokerage, I'll speak for an individual agent, it's $18,000. And then everybody nationwide, you do a $3,000. It's called a royalty, which goes to KW, like corporate. So for team agents at my brokerage, it's a $9,000 plus the 3, so $12,000 total. So what happens is, this is an interesting thing about profit share because again, it's really incumbent on the leadership team to be making good decisions and running the brokerage right. But also the brokerage to be producing. So it comes off of the brokerage's overall profit. So what happens is the brokerage, has X amount of profit. And then I believe it's 52% of the profit made in that individual month. And it does pay out monthly, I believe on the 21st of every month. 52% of that profit goes to the owners and like the shareholders. Maybe it's just the owners. And then the rest of it gets distributed out to the people that have, helped build the KW. Now, this is like where it is really interesting because it can be pretty awesome. Like it's 7 levels deep and it's graduated. So like, obviously like your first 2 layers are pretty heavy. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. It's like 50% for like your level one, I believe. I'll have to look it up because my brain is poor. Maybe 30% for like level two, and then it gets smaller, and then it gets bigger as it goes through 5 through 7. But so ultimately, it can expand just like every model like this. It can expand pretty massively. But it is an interesting fact that, and this is something I didn't understand early on, but profit share being paid out is not just dependent on the agent underneath of you being profitable, right? In fact, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the brokerage in which they reside being profitable. And so that's actually always kind of bothered me because I didn't understand that at first. But what we say in the company is also that it has the ability to make you a stakeholder. But something that's, I think, unique about us is like my job is not to recruit. In fact, we place a heavy emphasis that we're not recruiters. And so if I am just somebody that's going to introduce the idea of Keller Williams to somebody through casual conversation or whatever, somebody's like, I want to get my license. We introduce them to the leadership team. They can do that, but it's pretty like strict in the bylaws that like, it's very clear when you sign that, like, Kyle is my sponsor, that like your sponsor doesn't have any obligation to train you. Like, I'm not promising them training or coaching or whatever, because that's really the role of the productivity coach and Ignite and the market center itself. And so it reduces the burden on me as an agent so that I can just focus on being an agent and being productive and trying to help the business be more profitable. I think that's I can't think of anything that I'm missing there.
And Real Brokers is the same way. One of the things that distinguishes us from other cloud brokerages is we can't promise anything of value in exchange for putting us down. So we can't say, join my network and I'll give you free training, free masterminds, free coaching, or anything like that. And so we have, we call it revenue share. So revenue share is not dependent on whether the brokerage is profitable that the agents reside in. It's across the board, same number for everybody. And so for any agent that you bring into the company, you can earn up to 5% of every commission that they earn until they cap with the company. So that is a maximum of $4,000 a year, every year that they cap at the company. And our revenue share actually goes down 5 tiers. So anybody you bring in is your tier 1. Anybody that they bring in is your tier 2. You earn 4% of every commission that they earn until they cap, which is, I think, $3,200 a year. Tier 3 is 3%. Tier 4 is 2%. Tier 5 is 1%. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And yeah, it can be pretty profitable. I've been with the company for 3 years now. I'm making over $100,000 a year passive income just from the rev share, just from attracting agents to the company. And so we have a lot of people, really focus on that. And, even if you just do it kind of part-time, you're focusing on real estate, but you kind of do this on the side as well. It can be pretty profitable. And what I tell a lot of people is shoot for just 3 people. If you can get 3 people in the company that are cappers, that'll fully cover your entire cap that you pay to the company every single year. So let's talk about cost and fees and kind of break that down. You kind of talked a little bit about already. So Keller Williams has a 70-30 split, and then they have a $3,000 a year franchise fee. And I know it's dependent on which brokerage you're with, but you mind talking about, I guess, use yours as an example. What are the other fees at your own office with Keller Williams?
Yeah, so as far as I'm tracking, brain, the other fees that we have is we pay, again, brokerage dependent, but we pay, it's $125 a month to KW. That's kind of like the tech fee and kind of office fee. And then we do rent out our team. We've got like a premium office in the office. So we do pay rent for that, which is better than paying rent downtown, because downtown rent is super freaking expensive for, we have a small team. There's 5 of us total, including our admin. So that's how we manage that. And then there is a $30 transaction fee, like transaction processing fee for Keller Williams as well. And then anything like, if you have a TC or anything like that, but just off of Keller Williams, those are the fees. And then of course, once you cap, if you didn't know this, if you're a new agent, once you do cap, then you do get, 100% of your commission minus the $30 transaction fee.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so Real Broker, we have a 85-15 split. So Real takes 15%, you keep 85% of your commission until you pay a $12,000 a year cap. Then you keep 100% of your commission after that. If you're on a team, your cap gets reduced to half. So you have a $6,000 a year cap. If you're on a mega team that's doing over $100 million a year in volume, you can actually get a 1/3 cap. So team members' caps would only be $4,000 a year instead of the $6,000 a year. Now, while you're paying your split, there's no transaction fee. But after you keep 100% of your cap, after you pay 100% of your cap, then you keep 100% of your commission, but you pay a $285 transaction fee per transaction. We do have an annual fee of $750 a year, and this gets taken out of the first 3 transactions of the year: $250, $250, and $250. And then we do have a $30 E&O insurance fee per transaction across the board. So what I love about our fee structure is you don't pay anything until you actually have money coming in. So the annual fee and all the other fees, you don't pay that until you have money coming in. There's no monthly fees or anything like that. And yeah, I think we're incredibly affordable for most agents. I'm saving a lot compared to my last brokerage every year. And I think it is just being this cloud brokerage model. And another thing I like is the fee structure is across the board. Everybody at Real Broker pays the same fees. I remember when I was at, Keller Williams, there were certain people in my office who would get, special negotiations with the broker to get reduced fees or free offices or reduced caps for their teams. And it used to infuriate me. There are people, I would be doing more production than some agents, yet they're paying less in caps, or they get a free office, these sweetheart deals. And that's up to each individual broker. And obviously we don't have that here at Real, which is just a little thing that I appreciate. All right, man. So what are like your final thoughts out of all the things that we listed? Like what do you love most about Keller Williams?
That is pretty easy for me personally. Like the way that I do business is generally, I just want to do business. I go to the office every day. I know a lot of people work from home. It's just not my style. I like being around producers. If you ever watch my Instagram, we have a bell hanging in the middle of our office. And so anytime that somebody sets an appointment or closes a deal, most people casually go out there and will ring the bell, and I'll yell from my office, ring that bell like you mean it. But I love being around the community. I like being with people doing deals. I love the water cooler talk, as it were. Like I want to hear the deals that you're doing. I want to hear what went well. Honestly, I don't care if you're with Keller Williams or not. Like I love hearing about deals and what's going well. What'd you learn? What was crazy? Because everybody's got crazy real estate stories. We need to start logging those and write a book. Anyway, but really, I think the biggest thing for me, obviously it's what helped me launch my career. And I've been very, very fortunate to be surrounded by great leadership, really, really wonderful people that regardless of what happens, there are lifelong friends that I've made and people that have supported me. Like I said, there's no scarcity mindset. And I've leaned on the people that come to the office. I've leaned on everybody from the top producing to just people that have nothing to do with me, that have never met me, for help and support, for advice, last minute. There's been a lot of support there. And I think the relationships in the community that I've experienced has been probably the most important thing, or at least, I don't know if the most important thing, but what I've been very, very happy about. But at the same time, I can just go do my business when I need to do my business.
I love it, man. Yeah. I would say I pretty much have the same answer for a Real Broker. It's the culture of the company that really attracted me to this company. And I think that we have a culture of innovation. We're constantly pushing the envelope, trying new things, experimenting. So our culture is very tech focused, which is something that I really appreciate. I'm a very tech focused guy. I love video, social media. And our culture is focused on being kind and working hard. And I like I said, I love working for a company where the core value is work hard, be kind. And so really the culture, that community is really where everything starts. And then, the technology, the fees, all that kind of comes as a result of having that really positive culture. I love our leadership here as well. They're all super optimistic, positive people as well. And I just like being surrounded by people like that. One of the sayings here is collaboration over competition. And I love that. And I feel like with the rev share, with the stock, they found a way to incentivize this positive culture, incentivize this sense of strong community, because we're all owners in this company. We're all in this together. We're kind of riding the same ship together. Yeah, I really just love the culture and community that we have here. So Kyle, if anybody want to reach out to you, talk to you more about Keller Williams, what's the best way to reach you?
You can reach me. I'm most active on the Instagram machine. So at KJ Petitt, Petitt. Same on TikTok, but like I said, most active on Instagram. And then our YouTube channel, we do a lot of business through there as well. It's Living in Colorado Springs. So that's probably the best. I'll drop my email for you as well if anybody wants to reach out.
I love it. I'll put all that in the description of the video. If anybody wants to talk to more about Real Broker, you can reach me on Instagram as well, next.gen.agent, or I have a link down in the description below where you can schedule a one-on-one video call with me, talk to you more about Real, see if it'd be a good fit for your business or not. Kyle, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate your time today and all your wealth of information with Keller Williams.
Thanks for the opportunity, man. I think this was a behemoth, and hopefully it provides just some value to people exploring the space.